right, everybody, welcome to another No Agent Left Behind Mastermind, where we mastermind to make sure that no agent is left behind. Today, we're going to talk about rapport building. I'm going to tell you just a little story to start this rapport building off and kind of how I learned this. I think that in real estate, the person that is the best rapport builder, they always say the best marketer. Yes, marketing is one thing because you have to have the customer, but the other skill is being the best rapport builder. And I'll tell you just a little story in my sales career. I started when I was like 20 years old, and I was probably somewhere around 26 years old. I was in Florida, in Lakeland, Florida, and I had gone through the a great time of real estate from 2003 to 2007. And during that time, I was in the manufactured housing business selling real estate, and was always at the top of the company, having some massive success because kind of like over the last 5 years, the market was pretty much simple, right? And people were, buying homes left and right. Well, when the market crashed, I decided I wanted to go back home, right? And I came back to Texas because Texas, their market in a crash didn't really get affected as much as the rest of the country. So I moved to San Antonio, Texas, and went to a dealership there, and in a short amount of time became, the number one salesperson at the dealership. But at a young age, I started to lose the basics of what I had been taught. And basically what happened was my sales started to drop. And so my dad, I reached out to him because my dad's been a sales trainer for the last 40 something years, maybe 50 years. He's 72 years old, and he's still doing it to this day. And he said, well, tell me what you're doing in your sales process. And I said, well, I greet the customer at the door. I bring the customer in. I ask them for some water. And then I just basically get right down to, we had a qualifier, right? We had a qualifier that there were certain questions like, where are you moving from? What are you looking for in a home? What's your financial situation? And you start at the top of the qualifier. And I had the qualifier memorized because I had been in the business so long. But what I did is I started going to the bottom part, the part I was trying to get to really find out what I had in my hands. I was basically going for the gudular, right? And I would just say, hey, okay, great. Thanks for coming in. Let's go ahead and get into your financial situation. I need to go ahead and pull your credit. And I would just say, I need to pull your credit. And they would say, well, I don't trust you enough, right? So I would do that and I would lose customers. And so why I tell this story is my dad sat me down and he said, Matt, listen, he said, you have to get them to like and trust you. You have to build rapport with them. They're not going to do business with you if you just ask to pull their credit. And that one conversation changed my whole career. And still to this day, even when I got my real estate license 10 years ago and I got out of that business, which really the difference between the two businesses is one, I'm selling homes with wheels, and the other one have foundations, right? And so what I realized was that I don't really care about the sale or the closing or about myself. I care about building the relationship, because once I build the relationship, then nothing else matters. They're going to trust me. They're going to do anything I want them to do. They're going to let me guide them in any way that I want to guide them through the process of purchasing a home if I've built enough rapport with them. And I'll give you another example. So I was very heavy into Zillow leads. At one point when I was running my specific real estate team, we were spending about $30,000 a month on Zillow. Now we started with Zillow, and a lot of people watching this or on this call probably don't like Zillow, but I'm going to be completely honest. I don't buy Zillow anymore, but Zillow leads are very highly converted if you know how to work the lead. So what I did with this, and I remember my first time I started out with $2,500. Okay. And the lender paid half of it. I paid the other half. Right. So I was in for $1,250. And I remember asking my wife, I was like, hey, can we afford this to invest this? And she said, well, can you get a return on it? And so I did it. And then when I applied the principles that I learned in that story, which was when the person called on the phone, you were automatically connected to a buyer. And the buyer, you already knew the address that they were looking at online. The lead had already been scrubbed. And what I would do is I would say, hey, this is Matt. So let's just role play here really quick, George. So George, you come in, there's a connection that comes through. And I would basically say, hey, George, this is Matt. How are you doing today?
Doing well on yourself, Matt?
I'm doing fantastic. Hey, listen, I saw that you were looking at 123 ABC Street. Did you have any questions about the property, or did you just want to go look at it today?
You know what? I had a couple of questions. I mean, how does the process start?
Yeah,
I'm a first-time home
fantastic.
buyer.
Yeah, fantastic. Yeah, there's a lot of those questions that you might have, George, and I want to answer those. Now, what I'd like to do is I'd like to show this property to you. Do you have time today to go out and take a look at it, and I can get all those questions answered for you as well?
Yes, are you available this afternoon?
Yeah, how's 1 p.m. sound?
Perfect.
So I would set the appointment because I knew that I had nothing. I had nothing until I met them face to face. Now, most agents, what they would have done, okay, because they don't have the sales training that I have that I'm bringing to you guys today, is they would have gone and kept answering his questions and gone, well, here's how it goes. You know, first thing you're going to do is, are you approved? That's like me going directly to, can I pull your credit? Right? Instead of just saying, hey, I want to answer all those questions. I'd love to show this house to you. Do you have time today? Right? And so I was able to take that 2,500 I started spending with Zillow and turn it into spending almost $30,000 a month and converting almost $100,000 every single month in income. Now, 100,000 coming in every month and 30,000 going out. How much net was I making? Anybody? Mathematicians? 100 grand minus 30 is what? Somebody speak up.
70.
You're at 70.
Exactly.
I
70
missed that.
grand, right? Now 70 grand. Now listen, here's the thing. I'm not saying that to toot my own horn, but I'm saying is most agents can't do that because they're going for the gudgeler, right? Well, it works the same way with whatever lead generation you're doing. They always talk about conversion. Well, the key to the conversion, okay, is you getting them to like and trust you and build a rapport. Now, let me give you an example. Every time I went to the house to meet, let's say I meet George at the house, I would always get there about 15 minutes early, okay? I would turn all the lights on in the house, okay? And I would watch them pull up, and then I would open the door and I would go out and I would greet them, okay? And as I was greeting them, I would ask them, hey, how are you doing? Are you originally from Austin? You know, no, start building rapport. I'd have them look through the house, okay? And then I'd say, hey, you know, at the end of it, I'd say, hey, you know, do you have any questions for me about the house? And I know on the phone, George, you asked about how the process works, okay? And I totally understand that because I was a first-time home buyer at one point too. So let me ask you this one question really quick before I get to your question. On a scale 1 to 10, 1, you just want to walk out the door, run for your life, or a 10, okay? Where do you rate this house? 10 being I want to buy this house, and 1, I want to run out of this house right now. Where do you rate it, George?
An 8.
An 8? Okay, awesome. Now, George, I can appreciate your honesty on it. Now, let me ask you, as an 8, that's pretty high up there. What would it take to get it to a 10?
You know, the price is a little high, so I mean, if we can drop it maybe like 5,000, I think that would be a perfect 10.
Okay, so what you're saying, George, is other than the price, there's nothing else. If I could get the price down 5,000, you know, obviously we would have to write an offer, and I'll kind of explain that process. But there's nothing else that is stopping you from buying this house. Floor plan, bedrooms, bathrooms, square footage, nothing of that nation. Location, backyard, front yard, everything is perfect except for you want to get the price down at least 5,000. Is there anything else stopping you from moving forward on writing an offer on this house?
No, Nothing
Okay,
else.
fantastic. Awesome. So George, let me kind of tell you how this process works. First off, I'm going to take you from A to Z. Okay. Now, do you like baseball, George?
Yes, I do.
So who's your favorite team, man?
Atlanta Braves.
Atlanta Braves. Now, why do you like the Atlanta Braves? You know, you're here in Texas. Why do
Yeah,
you like the Atlanta Braves?
from my
Are you from
childhood, man.
Atlanta?
No,
from your
no, from my
childhood.
childhood. Yeah.
Oh, from your childhood. Okay. Okay.
Yeah.
Totally understand that. Listen, I'm going to
Braves.
be, hey, I'm going to be completely honest with you, George. You know, what's funny is I took my son to, Colorado, and we went to a Colorado Rockies game. And at the time, they were playing the Braves, and the Braves were terrible. This was before their last World Series run, and they were terrible. But I got to show my son the Braves, and even though I'm not a Braves fan, I still remember as a child the Braves were good. You know, with Maddox and all those other people, right?
Chipper Jones. Yeah.
Yeah. Absolutely. So again, I'm going to stop here, guys, and I'm going to tell you what I'm doing. I'm getting to the question I'm going to ask him, but I'm building rapport while I'm getting to that question. Now, watch where I go from here. So we talked about his team. So you like baseball. So I'm going to draw this out to you really quick on the process, the home buying process for you. So it's kind of like a baseball game, right? Now, you got to step up to the plate first, right? To hit the ball, correct?
Correct.
Okay. So today you stepped up to the plate. You got out of the dugout, okay? And you're on home plate. And the next step for you in the home buying process is to maybe not hit a home run, but maybe hit a base hit so you can get to first base. Do you know what first base is?
Yes.
Okay, awesome. First base in my analogy here is the home approval process. Okay, so that's the first base. So the first thing we've got to do is we've got to get you approved. Now, let me ask you a question. Do you need help with a lender? This is very important language here, guys. If you use this, it's very non-evasive, and I've used it a million times. Do you need help with the lender, or do you already have that handle?
I need help with the lender.
Fantastic. Not a problem. I've got a couple lenders that I can refer to you that I've done multiple deals with and helped multiple families with. So our first step is to get you to first base and get you a home loan approval. And I'll send you a couple of my preferred lenders. Okay. Now, George, the next step, okay, is to get you to second base. Now, what is second base? And let me explain to you what second base is, since we're both baseball fans here. I'm an Astros fan. You're a Braves fan. All good, right? You guys beat us in the World Series. We understand it. Y'all were hot that year. I get it. I respect, major respect to you. So we get you to first base. Now, how do I get you to second base? I get you to second base is once your loan is approved, then we have the key, okay, to be able to get to third base with the loan approval. Okay. So once we get you to second base, all right, what we're going to do is we're going to have the ability to be able to go and write an offer on this house that you like to see if they will go ahead and take that price down. Okay. Now, what's third base? Well, I'm about to tell you, George. Here's what third base is. After we've written the offer and we've got the offer accepted, okay, guess what? When it gets accepted, that's like somebody hitting another base hit or an RBI to get you over to third. So maybe this house, maybe not this house, maybe another house. We hit that. Once we get it accepted, we go under contract, and that puts you to third base. Now, what's going to happen when we get to third base? How do we get home? How do we get you into your new home? It's really simple. What we're going to do is now you're going to be working with your lender, and your lender's going to be gathering some information from you to get you to the closing table within 30 days or less. And once we get that clear to close, which is the 30 days of them going through everything, getting the appraisal and all that type of stuff that goes on in the financing, when we get that CTC is what we call it in this business, that's your clear to go home. And once we get you home, we hand you your keys at the closing, and you get to move into your beautiful home. So hopefully that helps you out, George, to kind of understand the process of home buying. And just to let you know, I'm going to be here with you every step of the way. All right.
Sounds great, Matt.
Yeah. So guys, that's called the baseball close. Okay. I use that in the manufactured home business because in the manufactured home business, we would have to find them land, right? So first base was, hey, let's get you an approval. Second base was, let's find you some land. Once we find you land, let's take it to third base to the financing approval. Same concept here, except for we're not having to find them land. But when you paint that picture to them, and I haven't met one person that doesn't like baseball, you know what I mean? Like, if it's not baseball, use whatever sport, okay? But that's called the baseball close. And then that paints them a picture of the process, and it's a simplified process for them. Again, what I did is I'm building rapport with the client, and then I'm also closing him on the process as well, but I'm also closing him or her on the process of working with me because I look like the professional now. I look like I know what I'm doing. And it doesn't matter if I look at 20 houses or 30 homes. I know at the end of the day, however long it takes me, that customer will turn into a client, maybe a friend, but it'll also turn into numbers in my bank account. But when the agent sits back and they're just worried about themselves and they're worried about, the commission check, they forget the key piece of building rapport with the client. Okay. Same thing when you guys are nurturing. You'll have to understand rapport building works when you actually get the customer, but also nurturing the customer, because most people forget about the customer and they hit them maybe 3 or 4 times through the process. And when they hit them 3 or 4 times through the process, they give up. Well, guess what? Another agent comes back around, starts following up with them. The one that follows up with them and builds more rapport with them and stays in touch with them is the one that wins. Same thing goes for referrals with your past clients. If you're just selling homes every year and you're not loving back on those clients every year consistently, then you're giving up on future business. All right. All right, guys, that's my analogy of how to be the best rapport builder. Just relax. No matter how broke you are right now, if you're on this call and you're broke and you're like, I need money, you're always going to need money if you just keep going for the gudular. And I might even say that medical term wrong. Gudular? Is it gudular? Is that what it is? Is it gudular?
Jugular.
Oh, jugular. The jugular, the gudular. Well, at least people that are watching this know that, hey, I'm real when it comes to that. But anyways, if you keep going for the jugular or whatever you want to call it, if you keep going through the throat, okay, you're not going to get anything out of them. Okay. All right. I want to hear from you guys. Any struggles? Because you will be a straight assassin in real estate. Okay. A straight assassin, if you can figure out lead generation, okay, and you can get in front of people, if you have these skills, then you will be a straight assassin. You'll never worry about where your next paycheck's coming. All right. Anybody have anything that they have questions on rapport building or anything that they see that they struggle with that I can help you out with?
Matt, hi, how are you doing? I had an incident happen. I was supposed to have had closed towards the middle of November, and then it extended. We were the appraisal took place, and it was a conventional. And the reason I'm asking is in case this happens again, I don't know who to speak to. What happened was the underwriter for the lender said that there had to be some maintenance done on the roof, and we got that maintenance done. And after that maintenance was done, he went back and he said, you know what, never mind, you need to replace the entire roof. And there was no, his decision wasn't based on anything factual or anything that roof inspector had done. We even had a roof inspection done, and it stated that, yeah, it was just that maintenance that needed to be done. So I lost a very good deal the very last minute over that. And I tried to fight it, and there was nothing. The bank said, nope, we're just not going to fund you. But there was all these expenses that had already taken place because, it was at the underwriter's request.
Okay, so so let me make sure I understand this. You had a deal, you had a bank approval, and the underwriter requested, was it the underwriter or the appraiser that requested these items be taken care of?
Well, the appraisal the appraiser had said that there was maintenance that needed to be done on the roof. No, the
Okay.
appraiser said you need to get a roof inspection. We went, we got a roof inspector. We got the roof inspection. The roof inspection stated that it needed maintenance. The maintenance that it was requested by the underwriter and the roof inspector was taken care of. We went ahead and all of that was paid for. So then once we submitted all of that back to the lender to submit to the underwriter came back and said, never mind, I want the entire roof fixed, like brand new, a whole new roof.
Okay. So let me ask you this. When the maintenance that they said needed to be done, was there a amendment done stating that the underwriter is requesting these specific items to be taken care of? Was that sent out and signed by both parties?
Yes. And
Okay,
I also
so
have
then-
the emails where
yeah.
the underwriter stated that this is that he sent to the lender stating, this is all we needed.
Gotcha. So the amendment was signed, then you guys went out and took care exactly what they needed to do. And then from there, the underwriter came back and said, hey, actually now we just want a whole new roof to be able to fund it. And that's what you're saying happened, right?
Yes.
Okay. So, and at that point, your client, are you on the sell side or buy side?
I'm on the buyer side.
So on the buyer side, at that point, you went back to the selling side and said, hey, underwriter is requesting a new roof to be put on. Is your client willing to do that? Is that what happened?
Yes, I did ask and they said
And
absolutely
then-
not. We tried to negotiate and neither party was willing to do it.
Okay.
And I
okay.
don't blame them.
Okay. Yeah. So that happened. Let me ask you this. The lender that you were using, was that your preferred lender?
No, these clients were sent to me from the lender, which,
Is the lender a local lender there in El Paso?
yes.
Okay. So here's what I would have done at the situation. Before I went to tell the other side, okay, I'm just coaching you here. Okay.
Mhm.
To tell the other side that they're coming back and saying that they need a new roof. What I would have done is gone to a couple more lenders in El Paso and said, hey, here's the scenario. Here's what's happening. Here's what the underwriter's requiring. Here's what we took care of. Do you think this is right? Do you think this is something that you guys could get pushed through? And if you
Well-
did that, what's that?
I did. I did talk to the other lender, to the original lender, and I told them that wasn't gonna happen because they had already said from the very beginning. It was a conventional loan, which is what I don't understand. But it's like, aren't they held accountable if you're in a contractual agreement, it's already been stated, the expenses have already been done. But my clients were not willing to change lenders anymore. They weren't willing to go through the whole ordeal.
Okay, so and here's the deal: is sometimes you need to bring somebody involved in to have a conversation with them. Utilize your team. If you need to bring me in a conversation to explain, hey, this is going to be painless. You love this house. We want to help you get this house. Let's check with this. I've spoken with this other lender. They don't think it's going to be an issue. It's a conventional note. It's not FHA. Sometimes hearing it from somebody else, okay, we'll do something. So just lesson, just try to use somebody else in your network to be able to have a conversation with the client, right?
I did. Because the other lender said, this is easy, we can get it done. He reached out to them, he talked to them, and they said, absolutely not. We're just not gonna go through it again. But my question is just the same way that we are supposed to be, we have our ethics code, and the moment that we say something, it's supposed to be good as gold or there's consequences, right? is there, how do I say it? Do lenders have to do they go through the same thing? Do they have a code of ethics? Or we just don't trust them and just move on to the next?
Well, I mean, the underwriter, you know, if I always have people use, I always try to get people to use one of my preferred lenders, because if
Mhm.
my preferred lender, if that situation happened, I would move it up the chain through there and be like, hey, y'all need to talk to this underwriter, like, you know, and have them talk through it. So if this was a lender, have you ever worked with this lender before?
No, I've seen him and he's come out to, they have come out to sponsor some of our events and everything.
Well,
I've
then the
never worked
loan
with him.
officer, that you
Who's a
spoke with,
lender?
yeah, the loan officer that you
Right.
spoke with, why didn't he go to bat for you with the underwriter?
He stated that he did, but that the underwriter didn't want, that he just didn't want it. And I asked him, I said, under what, on
Well, then
what was
what
the
I would have
reason
done is
and
said,
why?
hey, who is your manager? Can your manager help out? Right? Like, you know, now the question, the real burning question here is what are your clients going to do? Just not buy a house now?
Yeah, they were from Vegas and they're just not gonna buy a house. They, I'm still in touch with them. I did fight for the earnest money, which we are receiving it because it was due to deficiencies
Got it.
of the house, according to the lender. So we were able to get that back. And I
Yeah.
still talk to them. I'll call them, wish them a happy Thanksgiving and whatnot. And they said that when they're ready to purchase, that they'll just try again. But at this moment, they don't want to.
Yeah.
Most likely.
Well, you can't do anything about their decision. You just have to move on, and that's the importance, guys, of having a full pipeline, because you're not going to close every deal, right? And there's going to be life situations. So, your goal for your pipeline should be having 10 deals in your pipeline at all times. So if you have 2 close in 1 month or 3 close in 1 month, you've got another that are coming. Focus on 10 deals in your pipeline that you're working at all times, and you're just moving them in. This is a pipeline business. That way, when that one deal fails, it doesn't hurt as much, right? And you can move on from there. So, Norma, appreciate you sharing with me. You know, it's a little bit of a wild, wild west out there, even with your lenders in El Paso. I mean, it really is. I mean, you guys, yeah. Even Michael Urita is like, hey man, like, is it the wild, wild west out there? Like I mean, y'all's contracts, y'all's agents out there, they don't know how to write contracts. Not you guys, but there needs to. I was talking to Victor about that, as well. So, but you're all good, girl. You're with the right team, and appreciate you. And we're gonna lose some, we're gonna win some. You know what I mean? I mean, I had a guy one time that took me through the whole process, everything, told me he had all this money. We got him everything. And then he just like totally like just fell off the face of the earth. I still don't know what happened to him to this day.
Oh.
Right. And he left like $20,000 in earnest money. Like, I have no idea what happened to him. Hopefully he's still alive. Okay. So, I mean, you're going to have those weird situations that happen. Again, the way that you can focus on it is get you 10 deals, focus on always having 10 deals in the pipeline. And where did I learn that? I learned that from the mobile home business, because, if you wrote 5 deals on a mobile home, you were going to get 1, right? And they could get their money back at any time, right? So you had to constantly, like, I had 15 to 20 deals in my pipeline, writing offers. So just keep that in mind, keep a full pipeline. And if you have 10 at all times, then you're going to be fine. And the way you do that is you're consistently marketing, you're consistently building relationships, and you'll consistently have a pipeline, 100%. So, all right, Jesse, anybody else have any other questions this week?
Who was the lender? Who was the lender? I'm sorry, it broke off on my end.
It was okay. I'm gonna tell you guys his name. He's still a good friend of mine. Business is business, friendship is apart. His name is Benjamin from Rice.
Oh, okay, gotcha.
Yeah.
And
Right.
he did his best. It was just it was ridiculous. It was
Well,
a conventional loan.
Here's the other thing I would say to the sellers on the selling side is, hey guys, listen, they're requiring it, well, and the thing is it wasn't FHA because they're going to have to, they still have to disclose that it was because of the roof issue, but I mean, I don't know, is what it is. So anybody else have any other questions this week? Hopefully the rapport building helped you guys out a little bit. I'm telling you, if you focus on relationships and rapport building, you will you'll have a successful business, no matter what you do, no matter if you're selling ice cream or drawing pictures like Juan back there. He looks like a little artist. Is that your daughter? Yeah.
Yep.
Okay, awesome. So you guys saw the announcement today of the new president of the company. If you guys don't know the guy's background, I don't know him very well. But if you look at his track record, the one thing I like about that hire is that he is a real estate background, right? If you notice, most of the people at our company, we have some amazing technology, but most of them aren't real estate background. They're a tech company that is in the real estate space. But between him being the president, Sheila being vice president of broker ops, those are two people that have been in the real estate industry. So to have the president that knows what real estate, knows agents, knows all that type of stuff is going to be good. I think it'll be good for the growth of our company and into the future as well for our agents. So just, know that that's a good thing that just came about. And the interactions I've had with him, he is a very kind person. He definitely holds our core values as well. So that's exciting stuff to know that he joined. And have a good day, Victor. That's what Victor said. Anybody working on any type of attraction as well? Remember, I'm always here. If you meet any agents that want to learn about Real, keep that at the forefront of your mind. Remember, January 2023, you're going to be able to, any of your rev share, you'll be able to willable it to anybody in your family, okay? Which we're the only company that allows it to be willable and not have to go get their real estate license. Okay. So in January, you'll be able to, you could pick your sister or your cousin you like, or whoever it is, or your kids, and you can willable that. So if something ever does happen to you, that money goes towards them and they don't have to get their license, which is huge. So just remember that you guys always have that, and you guys always have me to not do, you don't have to do all the talking and explaining. You just put them in front of me. I'll share the value, the vision. And if they get it, they'll join your team. Okay. Awesome. Awesome, guys. Well, appreciate the call this week. Anything else you guys need? If not, give me a thumbs up and we will head out of here and go get to work.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Matt.
Thanks,
Have a
guys.
great day.
You too,
You too.
everybody.
Bye-bye.